They say fishing is supposed to be peaceful. Tell that to the HOA Karen who called the cops on a decorated veteran for casting a line into a lake he helped build. Let's rewind. It was a warm Saturday morning, just past 7:30 a.m. The mist was still hanging over the water, and the only sound was birdsong and the soft ripple of the lake. That's when Jack, 67 years old, Navy vet, proud homeowner, set up his folding chair and tossed out his line. It was his weekend ritual, one he'd been doing quietly for years. The lake sat behind his own property, after all. He even helped clear the land when the original developer built this subdivision decades ago. Back then, there were no HOAs, no overregulation, just neighbors and handshakes. But times had changed, and this morning, something was brewing on the other side of the water. That something came in the form of a woman named Cheryl, late 50, bleached bob haircut, neon tracksuit, HOA badge swinging from a lanyard like it meant something. She had just moved in a year ago and appointed herself the lake rules enforcer, despite no one asking her to. And today, she spotted Jack fishing peacefully and saw a criminal from her deck. She started yelling, claiming the HOA prohibited fishing, that she'd never seen him at a meeting, and that the board would take legal action. Jack didn't respond, not out of guilt, but because he had noise-canceling headphones in and a cooler full of bait. He wasn't trespassing. He wasn't harming a thing. He was literally on his side of the lake. That's when she made the call. Hi, yes. I'd like to report a suspicious man loitering by the water near my house. He's casting fishing lines. I don't think he belongs here. Yes, I'm part of the Within 20 minutes, a sheriff's deputy pulled up. By now, a few other neighbors had stepped out, watching from porches and patios, sipping coffee like it was a front row seat to a morning drama. The deputy approached Jack calmly. Cheryl trailed behind, arms crossed like she expected an arrest. Sir, we got a call about unauthorized fishing on HOA property, the deputy said. Jack turned off his headphones and looked up, squinting slightly against the sun. This your first time out here? He asked with a wry smile. I own that lot. Been fishing this lake since before there was an HOA. The deputy paused. Do you have proof of ownership, sir? Jack stood, fished out his wallet, and handed over his ID names. On the D. Lot 17. Lake rights are attached to my title. It's all public record. You're welcome to confirm. The deputy radioed it in. Cheryl, arms twitching now, kept interjecting. He doesn't follow the rules. I told him about the ban at last month's meeting. I told him, but the deputy ignored her. 2 minutes later, confirmation came back. Jack was telling the truth. The deputy turned back, nodded respectfully, and said, You're good, sir. Sorry to bother you. Then came the moment that would go viral. Jack smiled, pulled out a laminated photo from his tackle box, a black and white snapshot of him, 40 years younger, in uniform, standing on the very same land during groundbreaking. Built this place before you were even on payroll, he said. Got more claim to this lake than the board ever will. The deputy chuckled. Looks like we've got a local legend out here. But Cheryl didn't back off. This is exactly the kind of chaos we've been trying to stop. She barked. We're trying to create order. The deputy looked her square in the eye and said something that would be clipped and reposted 1,000 times online. Man, not everything needs your permission. That should have been the end of it. A mistake, a warning, a lesson. But Cheryl wasn't done. By Monday morning, Jack received a formal violation notice taped to his door, not from the county, not from law enforcement, but from Cheryl's self-printed HOA memo pad. It listed unauthorized use of community water features, a $250 fine, and a demand to appear before the board. Jack did what any retired sailor would do, laughed, poured a coffee, and got to work. You see, Cheryl didn't know who she was messing with. Jack wasn't just a veteran. He was a veteran with time, resources, and a deep, dusty file cabinet full of documents most people forgot even existed. First, he contacted the actual HOA president. Turns out, Cheryl wasn't an official anything. Her lake rules were suggestions she typed up and circulated herself. The board had never voted on them. There was no approved fishing ban, and there sure wasn't any authority to issue fines. Second, Jack took all the paperwork, including the false notice, the recorded deputy conversation, and photos of Cheryl trespassing onto his lot to tape, the noticer, and sent it to a local veteran advocacy group. They had a contact at the local news station. Within days, the story hit the airwaves. Veteran harassed while fishing on own land by rogue HOA enforcer. The segment aired with bodycam footage. Cheryl's fake fine, and Jack's original groundbreaking photo. Viewers ate it up. The clip hit 1 million views in under a week. Veterans groups across the country shared it. Reddit, Facebook, even TikTok. Cheryl's name and her neon tracksuit became meme material. But it got worse. Turns out, Cheryl had issued similar violations to other neighbors, a family with kids who set up an above-ground pool, an elderly woman who planted tomatoes near her mailbox. Nobody challenged her before, thinking she had some authority. But once Jack's story went viral, the whole block turned on her. The HOA board officially removed her from all volunteer duties. The president issued a neighborhood-wide letter clarifying that no resident should engage in unauthorized enforcement. Jack, for his part, got an official apology from the sheriff's department and a handwritten thank you card from the HOA president. But the final twist, Jack was approached by a local non-profit that teaches kids and veterans how to fish. They offered to sponsor a community fishing day right there at the lake behind his house. With cameras, with press, with Cheryl watching from her porch, arms folded, as Jack taught a 6-year-old how to cast a line while smiling for the local news. And, yes, the whole thing was live-streamed. You couldn't script a better ending. So the next time someone yells, "You can't do that here," ask them who wrote the rules, and then check if they were even invited to the meeting.